president versus Congress. It looks like, based on our quick reading, that this is all about the idea that the Constitution gives Congress the power to regulate commerce, that the Constitution gives Congress the power to impose taxes, and that when we look at this particular statute, that it does not look like a delegation of Congress's authority. Like, we have the power under the Constitution. Are we now going to ship that over to you, the president? And today the court says no. Obviously, it's a case with huge implications in terms of the economy, in terms of the power of any president. But based on our reading right now, it looks like this is all about looking at specific words like regulate and determining what that means for the power of any president, again, under this particular statute.
And yet so much money has already been outlaid, in particular by Americans, to deal with these tariffs. So I want to give our legal team a little bit more time to go through this decision and look at the potential remedies, what's been decided here. But in the meantime, I want to bring in our senior White House and political correspondent, Ed O'Keefe, because Ed, as Jan outlined, this is obviously a major defeat for the White House on one of its key economic policy agendas. What now?
And not only the economic agenda, but arguably the foreign policy agenda as well, Tony, because the hope here at the White House at times was to be able to use the threat of tariffs as sort of a coercive tool to get their way with certain countries or certain parts of the world, most especially Europe in recent weeks. We have no reaction yet from the president, who is at this hour still meeting, we believe, behind closed doors here at the White House with a collection of the nation's governors who happen to be here in town this weekend for their annual meetings in Washington. The president has said, though, in recent weeks that were this to happen and the Supreme Court does not uphold his tariffs, quote, we're screwed. It would take many years to figure out what number we're talking about and even who, when, and where to pay back. The Trump administration's collected at least $130 billion in tariff revenue, according to U.S. Customs and Border Protection reports out in recent days. And there will be businesses across this country now wondering, do I get my money back, and do I get it back with interest? More than 100 different companies of all sizes had filed suit, raising questions about the legality of these tariffs. And the question now will be, does he perhaps try to seek tariffs or put them in place in other ways? There are ways, in fact, he could do that. We've seen him, for example, put tariffs on various sectors of the economy, like the semiconductor and manufacturing equipment that goes with them, medium and heavy-duty trucks and parts, critical minerals, pharmaceuticals. Does he perhaps pursue ways to go into those specific sectors, depending on what part of the world they happen to be produced in, if not here in the United States? The other thing he could try to do is use essentially national security rationale to put in place some tariffs as well. But again, no definitive response yet from this White House, which had to